I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, October the 20th, brought to you in part by Ever Ag Insurance Services. New tools to protect cattle market income. They've got agents across the country licensed in 44 states. They do full risk management services, including livestock risk protection that we talk about on here all the time, pasture, range, and forage policies, and dairy revenue protection. Search for ever.ag. Prepare for a lockdown. I've been talking about this a little bit as we go forward, but we're inching closer every day to full-fledged vaccine mandates, that were put forth by President Magoo, and we are not sure how bad it's going to get, but it's going to get bad. We're already seeing empty shelves in grocery stores because they can't get stuff in there. It's going to get really bad as far as travel right around Thanksgiving time because there's not going to be enough people to handle baggage, to work on the ground outside. Your flight attendants, even your pilots, there's not going to be enough of them because so many of them are not vaccinated, won't get vaccinated, and won't tell you whether or not they are vaccinated, and I don't blame them. But it's really going to hit our cattle industry, our beef industry. And we're already seeing the biggest problem with the market taking off as far as your calf and yearling market. Not a lot of yearlings out there, but our feeder cattle market, the biggest problem we see in our cattle auctions all across the country is we don't have enough trucks to haul them off. And I've told you guys that our cattle industry infrastructure is not big enough to handle 75% of the glut of calves all at the same time. But 75% of our calves in this country are born the first half of the year, so then people are ready to sell them in the fall, and we just don't have enough trucks to haul them off. There's trucking shortages, whether it's reefer trucks or whatever you're talking about, but there's just not enough of them to haul them all off, and that is hurting our market all around. Even though the market's pretty good, you get late in the sale whenever these order buyers start getting filled up and they can't get any more trucks. They just have to quit buying, they have to quit bidding, and that hurts the market. But as we go forward with these vaccine mandates, it's going to hit, and already has hit, our federal government and state government agencies. But we're seeing that your inspectors are going to be affected. Your meat inspectors, you can't process meat because you won't be able to sell it if you don't have inspectors there. Your graders for your steers and heifers and your bigger plants, if you're not able to have a grader there, even though they use instruments now or cameras, they can't certify that choice or prime. How are you going to sell that? It's going to cause gridlock. I mean, shutdown and backup, and it could be as bad or worse than one of these black swans that we've seen here over the last year or two. And don't say I haven't warned you guys. It's bad. Your plant workers in your packing plants, it's any business that's got over 100 workers, they have to mandate that. And we've already started to see it affect trade out in the great Northwest. We've seen brand inspectors quitting, retiring, getting out of there because they don't want to have to be mandated to do it. Well, you get out in those brand states, you can't move cattle can't sell, can't change hands of those cattle unless you have brand inspectors there to certify the brands that those cattle belong to, who they are selling those cattle. And I tell you what, it is getting bad. But this whole Magoo administration has just ruined this country in record time. I mean, we've got a dementia-riddled president there that doesn't know whether he's coming or going, and then a band of idiots just sending him down the wrong path. We're coming on into colder weather. Our heating bills are going to be out of this world. People aren't going to be able to afford to pay to heat their homes or drive to work if you can get anybody to work, let alone be able to afford this overpriced beef that these packers are gouging them on. It's really getting bad. And I don't know what's going to happen, but we're starting to see a few organizations, big companies, corporations balk at some things. We saw that Southwest Airlines, they're not going to immediately put their people on unpaid leave if they won't declare what their vaccination level is. So we'll see if any more come in through that. We'll see if and I tell you what's bad about this administration, even when they see that they've screwed up, they won't admit it and they won't back down. I mean, they try to hold the line on the stupidest things, you know, not whenever it's about the security of the country. They try to hold the line with our domestic deals, and it's unbelievable. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen, and it could get really, really bad if we can't keep these plants open. You guys know what happens whenever we can't keep the smoke blowing out of all the stacks in these packing plants. It kills the market and it starts backing cattle up, and then you got empty shelves, and it's going to end up hurting demand ultimately, and it's just really a mess. Let's look at your board. On Tuesday, October live cattle futures down 45 cents at 125 even. We've got some deliveries that are pressuring the market because people can't get 125 in most cases. Of course, it's down to 125 now. It was more, but that it should kind of shut the deliveries off because we have seen some 125 at least in the northern plains. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get the southern plains there, and if we don't get the southern plains there, if it's only 123, some of these outfits think they can deliver for less than $2, and they'll deliver cattle, and it will straighten the board out on that. December down 40 cents at 130.02. Go on your back months, your live cattle down 22 cents to up 20 cents. Feeder cattle for October down 65 at 155.10. November down 50 cents at 158.85. Go on your back months there, down 32 cents to up 85 cents, and it was your furthest out months on your feeder cattle that were actually up, and that's because people know that we're going to be running short of numbers. We've killed so many cows, we've placed a lot of heifers on feed, and we've slaughtered a lot of heifers. Not going to be as many calves after we get through this huge glut, and you know, it doesn't feel like we're going to be in a calf shortage whenever they're selling 7, 8, 10,000 and more in the northern plains calves every sale. But once we get through them, then we get through the calves in the Midwest that guys are weaning right now. It's going to be kind of slim pickings after that. Your fat cattle trade, not a whole lot of trade, and we haven't established the market yet this week. But it appears it's going to be fully steady to firm, and that's kind of what it's been feeling like here the last 2 or 3 weeks, just trading higher within the price range, and then once in a while we may get to tack another dollar on there. It's not a come at once deal, but you know, it is on the positive side, albeit minuscule. But Iowa about 2,200 on Tuesday. Prices from 123 to 125, so it's on the top side of the range, and dress sales at 196, which is exactly what they got last week. Nebraska only about 400 head, all at 125 live and 196 dressed. Kansas didn't have any trade on Tuesday. Texas 700 head at 123. And, you know, I think the guys are going to have to stick their boots in the ground and ask for a little bit more money in the southern plains, and I think they could probably get it. Box beef cutout values. Actually, let's talk about Stockman's Livestock in Yankton, South Dakota first. Their market was just kind of steady on the conventional cattle, and maybe spots a buck and a half lower on the program type cattle. But your packers are not tipping their hand too much in the sale barn, but the sale barn is still getting prices better than you can get out in the country. Conventional type cattle, just commodity fat cattle, 120 to 126. Drug-free or non-implanted cattle selling from 122.75 to 126.50, and you know, that's just shows that you know, you can still sell cattle through an auction And there's several places you can do it, mostly in the Midwest there. Even saw last year whenever we were having trouble getting cattle slaughtered, people sending cattle from the southern plains, even way down in the Texas Panhandle, all the way up to Yankton, South Dakota, to get somebody to bid on them and get them sold. Box beef cutout values were higher, so they it looked like they probably found a bottom here. Been trading sideways there for a few sessions and now finally higher. Choice cuts on Tuesday afternoon, 280.88. That's up 79 cents. Selects up 172 at 261.53. Your slaughter is running kind of on pace. 241,000, which is the same as last week and just 1,000 less than the same week a year ago. I want to talk to you about the Beefmaster Performance Group. They've got their sale coming up here this Saturday, October the 23rd. Be the 4th annual Red River Bull Sale. Be at Paris Livestock, just east of Paris, Texas there. I was at that sale last year, and we got an awful good lineup there. A lot of good people there that are members of that group that can sign their good breeding stock there. But that's going to be on DV auction on October the 23rd out of Paris, Texas, the 4th annual Red River Bull Sale. And tell you what, they can give you a little bonus there. If you spend $10,000, they'll give you 5% off. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market on Tuesday in your sale barns. Your real-time index on DV auction, 155.20 late on Tuesday. That was actually up $1.02 from the end of the previous day, and so that's pretty good gainers there. And our market still continues to be positive, even though we can't get the board to consistently go with us, and it's fighting tooth and nail to grab an extra buck in your fat cattle market. But feeders still selling good. Calves selling pretty good. The lighter weight calves that we've seen so many of have backed off a little bit. Guys wanting the bigger, nicer strings of the heavier calves, and especially if they've had 2 to 3 rounds of vaccinations and all the respiratory, and if you can get a wean on them, which a lot of those guys in the Northern Plains haven't yet, but they sure like to have that too, and you can sure tell the difference whenever they do see some wean calves sell. But some of your sales, like a typical high volume sales that we can get a consistent market from, would be Ozarks Regional Stockyard, West Plains, Missouri, about 1,800 head there. Steer calves $3 to $6 higher. Heifer calves steady to $3 higher on just kind of a mixed offering there. Not a lot of big strings in there, just smaller deals. And Dan Hill did note that a lot of the calves were not weaned, and a lot of the male calves were still bulls. Let's talk about a big high volume sale seasonally, and they're in the season right now. Philip the Giant, Philip Livestock Auction in Philip, South Dakota, 8,100 head for their sale on Tuesday. Steer calves, like I said a while ago, under 600 pounds were $2 to $4 lower because we've just sold so many of them. And then the heavier weight calves selling steady to $3 higher. Heifer calves under 500 pounds, $2 to $4 lower. Heavier weight calves, $2 to $4 higher. And did note on that Phillips sale, less than a quarter of the sale weighed over 600 pounds. So, I mean, a lot of light calves in that deal. Let's talk about a sale down here in the Southern Plains there that's getting along really good, and they do every Tuesday. Beaver County Stockyard in Beaver, Oklahoma. Look at these loads and bigger of 800 to 900 pound feeder steers right there in no man's land, Oklahoma Panhandle. They sell from $158.60 to $163.50. Those are big time quotes right there for a country sale barn. How about Bluegrass Stockyards, Lexington, Kentucky? You think in the fall you can steal those calves down there. Well, they've got good calves down there. Sometimes they sell them in bigger bunches, and when they do, they get a pretty good price for them too. Bluegrass Stockyards on Tuesday, 50 head, 492 pound steers, bring $180.50. How about Kimball Livestock Exchange in Kimball, South Dakota? Always big time prices there. 133 head, 821 pound feeder steers in Kimball, South Dakota, bring $167.35. But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday, and your Zach Tran top quote for the day, come to a sale barn that I'm not familiar with, but I got a heads up to check out the market on their yearlings. They didn't have a lot of them, but the load lots that they did have sold with a hell of a price way up in Jamestown, North Dakota. 74 head, 825-pound steers bring 167.75, and that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.